Hey there, and welcome to the Hey Kahla Podcast. Right now, at the very time that I'm recording this podcast episode, we are on the very brink of Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada, which is actually my favorite holiday. Obviously, it revolves around food and family for a lot of us, and those are my favorite things. Plus, it's in the fall time, which I absolutely adore. But Thanksgiving also means gatherings and family dinners, and that leads into Halloween and Halloween parties and Halloween socials, and those then take us into Christmas and holiday gatherings, and then we've got New Year's parties. And if you're kind of a shy soul, or maybe you're an introvert like I am, or maybe you're someone who has like an extreme dislike for public speaking, this time of year, like the next several months, can come with a lot of anxiety and dread and resistance, and I want to help. So I have this tradition around this time of year, and I love this. I go ahead and I share my favorite conversation starters for any party, which you can equip yourself with, whether you are walking into your own family shindig or a work thing, or maybe your partner's family thing where, you don't really know anybody yet other than your sweetie. And this is actually my third year doing this. And again, I absolutely love it. This is one of my favorite things to work on people with. So I wanted to go ahead and share this again for a third time. I obviously update them each and every year as I go out and I learn more and I network more. And these are starters that I use all the time, not just throughout this holiday season, but all year round, especially with networking or going to different events. So you're in good hands here. And if you want to check out all the years, I guess the 2 years prior advice, I'm going to be linking those blog posts in the show notes. And I also created this downloadable cheat sheet. It's kind of like a list with these tips and the conversation starters that you can download for free. And that link is in the show notes too. So, I don't want you to have to worry about taking notes as you're listening to this, pausing, writing stuff down, playing, pausing. So I just want to make it really easy for you so you can just go ahead and listen. Although I myself am a note-taking nerd, and I frequently will be sitting listening to podcasts with my coffee taking notes. So if that's you, feel free to do that too. Okay, let's get into my holiday conversation starters for any party 2024 edition. Now, the first thing I want to say is that folks always believe that they need to be a social butterfly to fit in at a party. And I truly believe, and I know this to be true, that you don't. You just have to be yourself and maybe come prepared with a few good talking points. If you've been around for a minute, you know how close I am with my mom, I talk about her all the time. She is the social butterfly. She's bubbly, she's gregarious, she's friendly, she loves being around people, she gets energized by people, she is truly a true extrovert. She is the social butterfly. Everybody wants to have her at every party. I think of myself as a moth, and I'm quieter and more reserved, and kind of stick to the edges, stick to the shadows, but I will come out when I need to. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I love moths. I'm planning a moth tattoo. I love them. They've always been one of my favorite creatures. I think they're beautiful, but they're different, right? They're different than butterflies. So imagine for a second, you walk into a room or a party and everyone in there is a butterfly. Right? They're extroverted, they're loud, they're talking with their hands. That's too much for anyone in that environment, right? And that's no shame to butterflies. I love them, we need them. But that's a lot of energy in one room, right? So we need people of all personalities to make a party really great, right? We need the butterflies, we need us moth people, caterpillars, the loud, the quiet, the medium. That's what makes up a really good vibe. So don't feel like you have to change who you are. Please don't do that. And don't feel like there's anything wrong with you or the way you show up, because there's truly room for everyone and you're welcome to be yourself in any situation. I'm thinking if somebody invited you to a party, they want your presence there, right? They want you to enjoy yourself and be yourself. So my moth people, my butterfly people, these are conversation starters for everyone. And I'm going to start with just some overall kind of easy peasy ones. And then I guess those are the appetizers. And then I'm going to be breaking them down into more specific situations. And again, you can get this free download, the entire list, through the link in the show notes. Okay. So let's say you're going to be stepping into, again, a partner's thing, your friend's thing, your family's thing, or you're even hosting yourself. one of the quickest and easiest ways to get that conversation flowing is to ask how you can be of service. So if you're hosting the party and somebody comes in, or you're hosting the gathering, the dinner, the whatever, ask, is there anything I can get you? Make yourself comfortable. Is there anything I can do for you? And then if you're showing up to somebody's house, ask them, how can I help? Is there anything that I can do for you? These are polite, they're easy, and I always say that the first is the worst. So when you're first beginning something or when you first show up to something, that's when your nerves and anxiety are the highest. But once you start chatting it up, you get into your flow, you're going to start to relax and your nerves will subside. So that's a really easy peasy intro. Another super easy one to get, yourself into the waters is, now that it's the start of fall, ask how their summer was. How simple is that, right? Did you do any traveling, any camping? Did you get some time to relax and enjoy yourself? What did you get up to this summer? Perfect, easy. From there, you just follow the natural flow of the conversation, right? If they did do some traveling or went on vacation, ask them about their favorite vacation spot. Most people do love talking about travel. And if you don't, that's okay. Like, honestly, like Moth Girl over here, I haven't really gone on vacation since 2017. Well, maybe I think I covered a Grey Cup in Calgary. Maybe that was like 2019. It was right before the pandemic. So I guess technically that was my last trip. But if you're like me, you can flow with that conversation as well to say, oh, I love traveling. Haven't been in a while. This is what I got up to this summer. You kind of bring it back around. And that's just a great way to find some common ground and spark a really interesting conversation. So you're covered either way there. Another thing is work or careers, right? It's a great way to find some common ground with somebody you've just met or to strike up a conversation with somebody you don't know really all that well. Because most of us have either work or career or a passion project or a hobby that's really lighting us up. So you can start with, how's work going? But then I want you to dig a little deeper, right? Ask them if there's a project coming up that they're excited about or if there's something that they're looking forward to the most. Again, if they have a passion project, like how's the podcast going? How's the blog going? How's the business going? You can take that conversation outside of like a typical office, ask them about their hobbies, ask them what they're into when they're not busy hustling at work, right? And then my last kind of open, easy, fail-proof way to make mingling a breeze. This is low-hanging fruit, but my friends, you can't go wrong with it. Watched anything good lately? And again, you want to follow it up by going a little bit deeper and encouraging them to converse with you. Like recently I binge watched whatever popular show is popular, I don't know. And I can't stop raving about it. Have you watched anything good lately? And you can also make this true for podcasts, heard anything good lately? Any recommendations? Because most people like some sort of entertainment, right? Books, podcasts, movies, TV shows, musicals, plays. Like it's a pretty safe bet that like all of us enjoy something. Did I say books? Yeah. Okay. If you ask about books, you can never go wrong with asking about books, right? So far, so good. Okay. We got these easy peasy ones. Now let's get into some really specific situations. And again, grab that free download from the show notes if you like. It's there to help you through like the next several months of mingling because we're not just talking Thanksgiving, right? We got a whole bunch of things coming up. And we're going to start with your partner's either dinner, like Thanksgiving dinner, or maybe work party as we start to get into the holiday season. These are situations where you don't really know anybody. You're the plus one. So feel free to use some of these. Number one, and this one's great for like work parties. If you're at a location like a restaurant or a venue, just say, this restaurant's awesome. Have you been here before? Or this venue is so cool. Have you been here before? Number two, again, lean on how was your summer? Or how's your holidays going so far? Or another really easy one, obviously we're coming up to a long weekend. What else are you up to this long weekend? Many of us have several different events or dinners that we're going to. What else are you up to this long weekend? Easy. Number three, what are your plans for the upcoming holidays? Are you going to travel somewhere? Are you going somewhere? Do you have anything planned? Number four, and this is again for like a work party. What do you do for work? Or how long have you worked at X company? Make it about them. People love talking about themselves and it's really easy to do so. And one of my final ones, what do you like to do outside of work? That's if you've met somebody and you're really interested in them and you want to keep the conversation going. And then the last one, which I mentioned earlier, again, it's a fail-proof. It's so safe. Watch anything good lately? Listen to any good podcasts? Anything you'd recommend? Boom. Super easy. Okay, now we're going to move on to like your thing, like either your work party where maybe you've been working remotely and you don't really know your coworkers all that well, Or, and I hope this isn't true, but we know it is. Maybe you work with people that you don't really adore and you don't really know what to say to them, right? Like you're just putting in your time there. If you have like a workplace that likes doing like those Friday, like pizza lunch things, I remember those from my corporate days all the time. Luckily, I loved my coworkers, but it's not always the case. So I just want to make sure you're prepared for these things. Okay, number one, what's new with you? That can be used really on anybody in the room. Number two, how's the family? How are things going, right? Number three, which is great for this time of year, are you getting away this winter? And you can follow that up with, where would you love to travel to? Where's your favorite place that you've been? These next couple ones, number 4 and number 5, are, I love these for coworkers that you really like, but you don't really know them that well, especially this time of year. So number 4 is, do you have a favorite holiday memory or tradition? And I love this one because especially if you work with people from all over the world or people who aren't from here, it is so cool to learn and hear stories from other people's traditions, right? Because we don't all celebrate the same thing. Different people have different things going on. And it's just so cool to learn from others and learn more about them. So I love that one. Again, do you have a favorite holiday memory or tradition? And number 5, what's your favorite dish or dessert to make or eat during the holidays? And again, that's one of those questions that it's so cool to learn about other people. I just love those. Those are 2 of my favorites that I throw out like constantly. I'll throw them out constantly over the next couple months. Okay. And then finally, I want to move on to your family gathering. And I do want to preface this by saying, like, I know that this can be a real painful point for a lot of people, like your own family's gathering. Maybe there's some trauma or real resistance to being around your family. So if you're feeling really nervous, I hope these tips help you. But I also want to say, like, I'm writing these for my people who are okay with going to visit others. They're just nervous about it. If you really feel like it's going to mess with your peace or your peace of mind or your mental health to go hang out with your family, like, don't do it. I'm not a mental health professional at all, but I do protect my mental health a lot. Like I protect my peace a lot. And I know the importance of putting yourself first. Like you are number one. You have to do what's best for you. So I hope I'm saying this in a way that makes sense. I don't want to offend anybody, but I also don't want to make it seem like I'm saying, oh, you have to go be social. No, you don't. If it's going to cause you more harm, or if your family's like not cool, I do believe that just because they're your family, they don't get access to you. Like nobody has access to you unless you give them access to you. You know what I mean? So do what's best for you. Stay home if you have to. Take care of yourself and protect your peace. But if you love your people, you're okay with going to see them, you're just kind of nervous and a little bit anxious about being social, then these tips are for you. So with that being said, let's get on to the family gathering. This first one is probably my favorite, and this one I use with my siblings all the time. Number 1 is to throw out a funny family story. Like, remember when mom did this, or remember when dad said this. They're always so funny. And I know I'm really fortunate. I come from a great family. Like they're still here. I'm going to see them tomorrow and again on Monday and probably again on Tuesday. But, we have so many funny family memories and family stories. And I mean, if you're a farm kid like me, there's probably a lot of mishaps that happened. Like, let's be real. Farm life, rural life, it's a funny time. It's a fun time. So it's just such a great thing to kind of get everybody in on. But my siblings and I absolutely love this. Like, remember when blah, 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 blah happened? And then you're laughing and everybody's in a good mood and everybody can kind of like reminisce. I absolutely love this one. Like, number 1 is my favorite. Number 2, and this can be used with family members that you love. And then family members that you're like, well, I see you like twice a year. And Thanksgiving's one of those times. What's new? You know, what have you got going on that you're excited for? That one works either way. Number 3, again, works either way, no matter how close or, you know, how distant you may be from a family member. How was this year for you? What was the highlight of your year? And then number 4, what are you really looking forward to in the new year? Right? What have you got going on? I love that question as well. And that's one that I will use on everybody that I'm talking to. So again, all of these really can be used in any situation that you feel comfortable using them. So get your hands on that cheat sheet from the show notes, see what you like. Maybe you want to keep these in your back pocket, like literally, like you can print off this cheat sheet, fold it up, take it with you. But since I am a professional speaker, I do have some bonus tips for you. Of course, how could I not? I feel like this podcast is already going to be 18 hours long, but I want to leave you with this. If you have a list of questions in your head, great, you're going to feel prepared, but don't be rapid firing your list of questions one after the other at someone, right? Like that's nutso. It's going to make people uncomfortable. It's going to they're going to feel like you're interrogating them, like you're interviewing them for something. Just try to be natural about it. One question at a time and follow up. Listen to their answers and use those to craft your next question. Don't just jump, here's my list of 5. I'm asking you all 5 in a row. Yeah, don't do that. The next thing is to really pay attention to your body language. And this is easier pre-meal before you have like a belly full of delicious food. But like walk in, your head's held high, you got your shoulders back, you're feeling confident. Make sure you have a genuine, warm, real smile, not that pained, frightening Joker smile. Even if that's how you feel on the inside, like on the outside, let's be warm and real. This is going to make you look a lot more approachable to people, which we like that, right? Also, comfortable eye contact. Don't dead stare somebody. Unless it's like your sibling across the table and somebody just says something absolutely ridiculous. Yep. Other than that, comfortable eye contact, my friend, and don't cross your arms. That's like a tale as old as time, but like don't cross your arms. Another thing kind of on that vein is just to try to stay off your phone. No matter how tempting it might be, yes, we have to go to our phones sometimes, but for the most part, it's just going to seem rude and it's going to actually keep you from chatting, which is what you're there to do, right? You're invited to a gathering, to gather, to enjoy food, to enjoy each other's company. Another kind of like these last 2 things I want to leave you with are kind of like a safety lever. I don't know what to call them, right? Safety lever. The first one, fall back on the weather. Seriously, use it. And I'm not just saying that because I'm like a former weather TV anchor. Like seriously, everybody has something to say about the weather, especially this time of year, especially on the prairies. If you are hitting a wall and it's just silence, and not silence in a good way, like everybody's enjoying their food, fall back on the weather. It's easy, but it's there. And then if you do need to bail from a conversation, and this is whether it's a conversation that's making you uncomfortable, like politics, or somebody's getting into something and you're like, oh, you're a fool, I'm not even going to entertain you with my vibe or my energy, or somebody's boring you to death, or the conversation's just dead, like you got to bail for some reason, you can use the old, well, I'm going to go get a drink, it was so nice chatting with you, or excuse me, I have to use the restroom, but it was so nice chatting with you. Make sure you throw in, but it was so nice chatting with you, as in like, I'm done, I'm out, thanks, bye, but you're doing it in a polite way. So there you go. My favorite and tried and true and tested, definitely tested, conversation starters if you're hitting up Thanksgiving, any October, November, December, January parties. These will get you through the next several months. If you have any tried and true conversation starters, let me know. You can DM me on Insta. I'm there at Hey Kahla, or you can email them to me at info@heykahla.com, and maybe we'll add them to the list of our holiday conversation starters for next year. And another reminder, I am going to post, tag or link. I'm going to link the previous year's blog posts in the show notes as well. You got the cheat sheet there for free. I'm also going to link, I have another podcast episode I did about networking and talking to strangers. I'm going to link that in the show notes as well, just in case you want to give it a listen, get some more tips and advice. And if I just can leave you with one last thing, again, protect your peace. Don't feel like you have to be social. If you're going through something right now, you want to be alone, or like your family or your people, they're just going to be toxic to you. Nobody has the right to your energy or to access you, right? You got to do what's best for you. So if you need to fly solo throughout Thanksgiving or any other holiday, you got to put yourself first. Please do so. And also remember that you're freaking awesome as you are, right? So if you are going out, please enjoy yourself. Do what feels natural to you. Do what feels good to you. Yes, I'm offering this advice, but you have to do what's going to feel good to you, right? I want you to take this list and make it your own and just have fun and eat lots of good food, of course. So feel free to share this episode with anyone else you think could use these tips. And thank you so much as always for hanging out with me. And I hope you have the best day, and I hope you have the best Thanksgiving.